All right. So, disclaimer here before I really get into this video. This is all pseudo bullshit. It is. I do want to make sure of that. And I do not recommend anybody to become numb. To me, becoming numb is a process where you cry because you wish you didn't do something. You come to a point where you just don't care. And you just go with it. And you just accept what happens. And you just say, all right, whatever. And you mean it. You don't just say that and try to be passive aggressive. You genuinely don't care. You don't have to say it. It's simply there in your actions. I hope that's clear, that this is a disclaimer that I don't want anyone to become this way. But this is the way I see it, and it's very pseudo and it's very indulgent, as a lot of these videos are, but pretty much the same thing. So it reminds me of the culture that goes on social media. And you'll see, for example, like Patrick Bateman from American Psycho. And everybody jumping onto it and just saying, oh, he's so cool, this and that, he's a killer. And realizing just how ridiculous that is and how NPC-like that is. Or watching movies of the same type or reading the same books. It's all NPC. Where it's like, I've read Carl Schmitt too. It's all NPC shit. The real way to let go is just to give up to a point. I think that there are, like I say, I will say shout out to the truckers out there in Ottawa, Canada. I don't really know if it's going to achieve anything. I really don't. But you know what? Good for them. Do I agree with it? I don't know. I don't think it's going to go anywhere, and it'll just kind of fizzle out anyway. It's something that people will just claim, oh, well, look at this one person who's wearing a Hitler Youth, swastika armband. And they've already done that. But it is what it is, right? The real numbness is not caring about it. I gave that's pretty much the whole of my critique on it, but whatever. Meh. I think becoming numb is the real nirvana because, especially amongst middle class white people like me, you get obsessed with this idea of nirvana. If we just studied Buddhism or this and that, or studied Reiki or whichever other pseudo-intellectual or pseudo-religion out there, that we're going to achieve something better. And it's like, no. You have to let go of that. You have to find that nirvana, find that Zen or whichever you want to do in what you do right now. That's the real Zen. Finding what you can do right now in what you do. Whether it's if you're an unemployed NEET or whether you're a maintenance guy at a hotel, whatever it is, you find that Zen, whatever that is. You learn to avoid the BS. You do things the right way. You avoid getting sucked into the job. Caring just enough so that it's done right, but not worrying about the details of it and not getting wrapped up in what people do. The people around you mean nothing. I know that's a very sociopathic way of looking at it, but that's my view. It's not worrying about it and just saying they're going to do what they want. I don't care what they do. That's the nirvana that you reach. And that's the only true nirvana for the working person today. is doing what you can to do in your job. You can have collectivism and you can have class consciousness, sure. But you can also realize, though, is that, at the end of the day, your choices are not always the group's choices. Sometimes you have to look out for yourself. This is somewhat paradoxical. That's fine. But I say this because I think that I am reaching that point because I am so self-absorbed. I am. But I'll do it nonetheless. I've almost reached that point of being completely numb and not worrying about it anymore and just saying, okay. Now, like I say, I don't think it's just like history is not a single thread or progress is purely a straight line. No. People go back and forth, they zigzag, this and that. And to me, sometimes you do get sucked into it for whatever reason. There's that trigger that or triggers, this and that, and you get pulled in. It happens. So maybe you take a detour for a couple days, then you come back to it. I think that's important to realize, is that any journey you take is never going to be a straight line. Once again, I realize this is pseudo nonsense. I do realize that to a point. And do not take what I'm saying for your own life. Make your own choices, this and that. I don't want to be responsible for anybody else. I just want to make sure, because you have to be careful nowadays, being a content creator. So, I think becoming numb to a point is purely natural. You can have moments where you do become, happy or become sad or whatever, but if you're numb and you simply do what you need to do, it's that much easier, If you're a lawyer taking care of a client, you can get emotional, this and that, but when you just let go, it's that much easier. I really don't know where I'm going with this, and I'm not sure of a proper ending. It's just starting to get awkward, but I will say is that it's easier when you realize that the future is going to have shades of the past within it. And you cannot escape what you are or what your country is or whatever, right? The United States can go ahead and claim a lot of things, but it is what it is. It's a country that was built on many, bad elements. And it's something that people will always bring up. But ultimately, most of the folks that really do criticize it don't want this system to collapse. They don't want the United States to collapse. They don't want to. And you have to realize that once you accept that, then your life will be that much easier. It's easy to get caught up in collapsitarianism, as I've promoted, or get caught up in whatever sort of movement. But if you just realize that to a point, this system ultimately will not change. It's just the faces. Then things are a little bit easier. I don't say that as saying you should stop doing what you're doing, stop protesting or whatever. No. What I'm saying is that Do not take the bait, hook, line, and sinker. Don't do that. Don't be the fish that thinks that ultimately this system is going to change everything else and be a true believer. Don't do that. Be cautious. You don't have to necessarily be numb. Being numb does not mean being stupid. Being numb, in my opinion, in my definition, is not allowing yourself to get involved and simply giving lip service to the system while you make up your own rules within limits. Anyway, I think I'm done with this rant. I've went on long enough. I hope y'all enjoyed this. I'm going to put this out probably on February 2nd. So hopefully y'all enjoy this. See you later. Bye.